Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting with Julia. I'm Julia and I'm so glad you tuned in today. If you enjoy my video, please hit the like button and leave me a comment. I love to get feedback from my viewers. Also, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you can be notified of all my newly released videos. Also, feel free to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I invite you to join my Facebook group called Crafting with Julia's Creative Community, where you can be part of my crafting family. All of those links are in the description below this video. Okay, let's talk about the pattern. This is my pattern for the Fat Jolly Snowman. I laid my pattern down on my fabric. I am using these bar mops that you get from Dollar Tree. This is, I kind of like the texture. I didn't want to just go with a plain felt, so I just wanted to give him a little texture to his body. So that's what I'm using as my fabric. What you're going to do is, in a link below, in the description box below this video, you will find the pattern. So you want to just print out the pattern and cut it out. Use heavy cardstock, and then lay your pattern out onto your fabric. Now let me go over what I did. Now, being that I'm using white fabric, I am using an erasable marker. This is water soluble. It's called Mark Be Gone, and I will leave a link to my markers in the description below. I get them from Amazon. So now when you print out this pattern, because it's too big, I had to do it in two parts. So you will see that I put a note tape here. That's where you're going to tape the pattern so that it goes all the way around. Now this is the body, and I'm cutting out two. So I have my two fabric pieces right sides facing each other. So I am cutting out two, and that is my body. Then for the bottom, this is the bottom that this will go around. You only want one of these. So this, I'm going to cut that out, just one. Here's the sleeves. You will need four, two for each arm. So I'm cutting it out. Also, if your fabric has a pattern or a direction, you have to be mindful of that you want everything to go in the direction of your pattern. This is my head. I'm cutting out two, and then here is the other sleeve. I'm cutting out two. Okay, now for the mittens, I am using black felt. I'm cutting out four, so there's two here and two here. And for the cuffs, I need two. Again, I am using my Mark Be Gone white marker because it's black felt, and I'm cutting out two, one for each. These are the cuffs, one for each mitten. And then I marked on here fold line. So what you're going to do is, after you cut it out, you're just going to fold it where the fold line is, and then that will be the cuff that goes around the mitten. Okay, moving on to the hat. This is the hat. You're going to cut out one in the fabric of your choice. I am going to be using this. This is actually a scarf that I got from Dollar Tree. I just like the fabric. So anyway, that will be the hat. Again, here's the fold line. So you're going to fold it up and then fold it up again so that there will be a little hem around the hat. And then these lines here are where you're going to snip it, because we want to make little fringes on the top of the hat, and that's where you're just going to snip it. All right, so you just need one of those. And then I'm going to take the same fabric and I am going to make a scarf when we're all done putting him together. So I'm going to leave that out. Okay, so I am ready to cut my pieces. Also for this project, you're going to need eyes. So I am using these black beads. They have little holes in them, and I am going to be sewing them to the head, to the face. You can also use black brads and just stick them in. Anything, buttons you can use and glue them on. Whatever choice you make is up to you. Also, I bought these from Amazon. These are are made by Darice. They come in two, and these are mini carrot noses. You can also make them in felt. You can just roll the felt up and make a carrot nose, but I like these. So these are 1 1/4 inch, and they come in two. So I sewed all my white pieces. This is the head. I left the neck open so that I can turn it right side out and stuff it. And then these are the sleeves, and I left the opening there so I could turn it right side out. Now for the body, I made a mistake before. You do not cut 2 of these out. You cut 1 out and you sew the seam together. And then after you do that, you're going to cut your circle out, and now we're going to pin this to the bottom, and then we're going to sew it. Okay, so I'm going to pin this to the bottom like this, going to pin it all the way around, and then we're going to sew the bottom closed with this circle. Okay, so here is the bottom of my body, which I sewed all the way around. And now we're going to turn it right side out. So I'm going to take my fabric turning tool. This is from Dritz. It's called a fabric tube, and it comes in various sizes. And this is a great little tool for turning your fabric right side out. So normally the fabric pushes right through the tube if it's thin enough, but this is pretty thick fabric, so I'm just going to use it just to turn it inside out. Okay, now we're going to stuff it. So I am going to put a little bit of polyfill in there. And using my stuffing fork, I'm going to push it through. So all my pieces are stuffed, and now we're going to put it all together. So I am going to take a chopstick and I am going to stick it inside the body like that. So I'm going to first put a little bit of glue on it so that it stays in there. And I'm going to stick it right through the center of the body. And that's how we're going to attach the head. So the head is going to go right through that hole. So I'm going to put the chopstick now through the head, and we're going to attach it to the hole. Okay, and then we're just going to glue it in there. Okay, now let's put the mittens on. So I'm going to put one arm, glued it through there to the mitten. Okay, so that's one. And the thumbs face forward, so that would be this arm. And the other arm would go this way. So we're going to put this one on this way. Okay, now we're going to put the cuffs on. So like I said before, you have the fold lines, so we're just going to fold the cuffs in thirds so that the seam reaches the center like that. Someone had given me, one of my viewers gave me a great tip on how to install your glue into the glue gun so that it sticks. Just put a little bit of glue on the end and put it through, and that is a game changer for me. And so I would want to thank that viewer for showing me that. Okay, so there's my cuff, and we're just going to glue it now around the top of the mitten. Now we're just going to glue the arms on. Now we're ready to put his eyes on. So before I do that, I want to put his nose on, and then I will determine where I want his eyes. So his nose, I think, is going to go right there. So I'm going to make just a little hole right there. Shoot some glue in there. And we're going to put his nose in. Okay, so now with my marker, I'm going to mark out his eyes. So I think I want them, I like them close together. So I'm going to put one here and one here. And I might as well draw his mouth while I'm at it. So now taking my black beads and some embroidery thread, I am going to go through the top of the head because he's going to have a hat on, so you will not see the thread. And I'm just going to sew the beads on. Okay, then I'm going to put a little blush on his cheeks. Okay, and now his hat. So here's his hat. I folded it over for the cuff on the hat, and then I stitched it up and then fold it right side out, and now we're just going to put it on his head. Make sure the seam is in the back. Okay, and then I made the slits already, the little snips in the top, and now I'm just going to gather that, and with a little rubber band I'm just going to tie it around. Okay, now I'm going to just glue the hat on so that it stays. And then with some black felt, I just made little circles, and I think that's going to be his earmuffs. I think that would look cute as his earmuffs. So I do make it up as I go along. Some things I think will look cute, and I just add it. See, that looks much better. Okay, now we're going to make his scarf. So I'm going to take my fabric and I'm just going to cut a long piece. And now I'm just going to make little slits. And then these are little snowflakes that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to put one on each mitten. So of course I have to put black buttons on the belly. So let's glue these black buttons on. Okay, and then just to finish it off, I want to add a nice big snowflake to the hat and to his scarf. So I'm going to put this one right here. And then we'll put a little one on his hat. Okay, and he's all done. For this snowman, you're going to need some white felt, a 4-inch styrofoam ball, some red yarn, some red felt. You're going to need the snowman nose, and you're going to need 2 black beads for the eyes. And you're going to need some type of sock. I am using these novelty socks that I got from Amazon. You're going to have to download the pattern, which I provided in a link. It's in the description box below this video. And you're going to print it out on heavy cardstock and trace it onto your felt, which I folded over, so you're going to make 2 of each and then 4 of these. So these are the arms. You're going to make 2 right and 2 left. Now the sewing. These are the feet. You are going to sew all the way around. Then we're going to cut a slit to turn it right side out. We'll get to that later. For the head, you're going to start here and sew to here so that you can turn it right side out, and then we're going to stuff it. And then the arms, you're going to sew all the way around. For both, you're going to sew all the way around, and for these 2, we're going to make little slits and turn it right side out. So let me sew my pieces and I'll come back. Okay, so here are my pieces all sewn. So now we're going to turn them right side out. So I'm going to take my fabric turning tube, and I am going to turn the head right side out. Okay, and then for the arms, now this is the top of the arm, right and left arm. So the back of the arm will be here. So we're going to just make a little slit in the back of the arm. So you want to grab the top fabric and just make a little slit like that. So that's the back of that arm, and then this is the back of the other arm. Just make a little slit, grabbing the top of the fabric like that. And then we're going to put the tool in there and turn the fabric right side out. And then just go along the seams. Okay, there's one. Okay, and there's the other arm. So now we're ready to stuff it. So now, taking my stuffing fork, we're going to stuff the arms. And then the same thing with the feet. We're going to take the scissors, and toward the back of the feet, we're going to make a little slit, just grabbing the top layer. Okay. So now I'm just going to take a little thread and sew these holes up. Okay, all my pieces are sewn closed, and now for the body I'm going to take my novelty socks, and I want to use this buckle here as the center. So I am going to cut it where it needs to be cut so that I can do that. Okay, so I am going to put the sock on the ball first. Okay, so I want to cut it here. And down here. And now I'm going to close up this hole by just running a stitch around the bottom. Now we are going to glue this piece onto the feet. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue, put it right in the center there. And we're going to put it right onto the feet. And now for the head, I think I want to do the face first. It'll be easier to do it that way. So let's grab the eyes and the nose. Now before I put on the eyes, I like to put the nose on so that I know where the eyes are going to go. So I'm going to put the nose right about there. So I'm going to make a hole with the scissors, put some glue in there, put some glue on the nose, and stick the nose on. Okay, now I know where my eyes are going to go. So I always like the eyes close together. So I am going to make little dots. And I'm going to come in from the top of the head. And go through to the other eye. And then I'm going to thread that. And then go back to the top of the head. And then tie it off in a knot. Okay, then I'll just put some blush on his cheeks. Okay, now to put the head on, I am going to secure it with toothpicks. So I'm going to stick the toothpicks in the styrofoam ball. Make sure they're glued on there. Okay, and then I'm going to stick the toothpicks into the head. So I'm going to make little holes with my scissor. Okay, and we're going to also glue it. Then I'm going to take my arms and I'm going to glue them to the sides like that. So the part where you sewed it is where you're going to put the glue. Okay, now we're going to move on to making the hat. The hat, you're going to need yarn, and you're going to need a flexible piece of cardboard. Now, you want to measure the circumference of the head, and you want to leave room for the yarn because it's going to be a little bulky. So you want it to be a little bit big. So if you want the hat to sit like that, it has to be a little bit bigger. So we are going to tape it right there, and that's going to be our hat. Okay, so I'm going to tape it right there. Now this piece of cardboard measures 3/4 of an inch. You don't want it too wide. Okay, and that's going to act as the rim for the hat. So the yarn should be about 20 inches long. Yeah, 20 inches long, and you're going to cut about maybe 25 to 30 pieces at 20 inches long. And then what you're going to do is you're going to loop it around the brim like that. So you want to make sure your ends are even. And then you're going to pull it through the loop. And make sure the knot is at the top ridge. And you're going to do that for all of your pieces. So again, we're going to cut it 20 inches long. Make a loop. Make sure your ends are even. You're going to pull it through. And the knot is at the top of the ridge. So my suggestion is to get a piece of cardboard, make it 20 inches long, and just keep looping it around until you get to 25 to 30 times, and then just cut it. Okay, so now my hat is done. I put all the pieces on. All the yarn is on, all the knots are in a row on top of the rim. And now what we're going to do is we're going to push this through. So we're going to put this whole thing and pull it through the hole. Okay, then we're going to grab it like that, and we're going to make a little pom-pom on the top. So now I'm going to put it on his head. Yeah, so I'm going to take some yarn and we're going to tie a knot right about there. Okay, and then I am going to make that all even. So you want to take your scissors and you just want to now shape the pom-pom. Okay, and there's your hat. So now I'm going to put it on his head. So I'm going to take this felt that I got from Dollar Tree, and I am going to just cut a strip . Just going to embellish him. So I always like to put a little white dots on the cheeks. This is just white acrylic paint. And I think we'll give him a little bit of a holly branch. Okay, now last but not least, I am going to make him a little sled. I got this from Dollar Tree. It's a little sled ornament, and I am going to remove this plaid fabric because I do not want this on it. That looks really cheap to me. So I removed everything and I cleaned it up nice, and now I am going to put these craft sticks on there and make a wood sleigh. So I am going to cut Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again real soon. Happy crafting!